This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.
Stand by for a transmission from DX Central. This broadcast is not a test. To confirm reception, please tune your radio to any AM or FM frequency and report your observations during this transmission. Again, this is not a test. Stand by for a transmission from DX Central. This broadcast is not a test. To confirm reception, please tune your radio to any AM or FM frequency and report your observations during this transmission. Again, this is not a test.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AM/DX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AM/DXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Gulf South
to your corner of the world.
This is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
DX Central Live here from the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana. Good evening, my friends. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. A little belated, but hopefully you had a great day with yourself or your family, your friends, or just next to the radio, or just taking some time off. Hopefully, whatever it was that you wanted to do yesterday, you got a chance to do that. And that you've got yourself some fun planned for this weekend. I know some of you guys got some gear on the way or some antennas on the way, or it just arrived, so you're getting a chance to play with those. So whatever it is you find yourself doing this this holiday weekend here in the U.S., for our U.S. friends, hope that you enjoy it and are safe. What a great week it's been here in the North Shore Studios here. We had a chance to do a little bit of work in the shack, getting some stuff done, a little bit of DX. Not as much DX as I wanted to do, but a little bit was able to get done. But I did manage to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, since I opened up here in the shack originally, and then later on again as well with the remodel that we did back in April. I've been wanting to get what used to be my old shack computer. Now it's a backup laptop. I've been wanting to get that laptop up and running so that I could run my RSPDX and my AirSpy HF Plus Discovery in it. And I can tell you now, at least one of those is done. Look, my friends, we have the backup computer up and running with the RSPDX and SDR Uno. So tonight, we're giving this RSPDX a shakedown, a little run through, and we're going to tell you why here after the top of the hour we're doing that, because there's a very special reason why. All right, make sure you join us in the chat, whether you're on our YouTube channel, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you might be. Join us in the chat. Let us know what you're hearing. Of course, we've been sitting on 1310 and 774 this week for week 9 of the medium wave frequency challenge. We'll be showing our results from week 8 a little bit later on in the program. That's when we were looking at 790 to 802. And of course, we're announcing our week 10 frequencies a little bit later on as well in the next hour. So let us know what you think it might be. Always like looking at your guesses to see what you guys think it might be that we're going to be doing for our next week of the challenge. And I'll tell you this, I'm very excited. Very, very excited about this coming week. There's some stuff on this one that I'm really, really trying to gun for. Let's see. I'm just making my notes. We're also ready for some Week 10 shout-outs. So if you have a new log, a new state, or a new country that you've added to your logbook in the last week on any frequency on the medium wave band, let me know in the chat. We'll get you a shout-out here a little bit later on in the program. We'll be doing that a couple times as we walk through tonight. Tonight we're sipping on some Guinness, a little extra. This is actually the regular stout. I have the extra stout in there as well, but I grabbed the regular drought stout, the nitro bottle here, nitro can rather. So cheers, my friends. Whatever you might be imbibing on this evening. Barry says gotta be one with SD in it. We'll see. All right, so yeah, we'll be taking a look at the RSPDX. We'll be doing the results. We'll be doing the announcement for the next week. We'll be finishing up on 1310 and 774. We got top of the hour coming up here in a little bit. We have our DXC tweet of the week coming up here in a little bit. So lots to get to. We'll take a look at our TIS hard challenge and see how we're looking there, and how people are doing and getting in there and enjoying themselves, looking for some TIS and hard stations. Let me make a quick adjustment here. Okay, that looks better. I was a little out of sync there for a second. Looked like the audio and the video, but I think now it's a little bit closer. So yeah, we'll be doing, we have 3 SDRs up and running tonight. We've got our usual Perseus, and this time we've got the Superloop pointed back out west again. We moved it this afternoon from east to west, so we'll be looking there, out west on 1310 for the first time this week. And we also have our northwest southeast CAS, and that is pointed southeast right now, the 22x70 CAS, and then the 15x50 Superloop, which is again still pointing now at 285. On the other side, we've got our Elad FDM S3. This has our twin W6 LVP loops, sitting at a 12-foot pole on a TV rotor. So we'll be looking at the SDR Console program tonight with our Elad FDM S3. Oops, looks like it's running a little sluggish right here, isn't it? That's kind of spotty, kind of stop and starty. And then obviously as well, like I said before, we have our SDR Uno software running our RSPDX, or SDR Play RSPDX. That is with our other 22x70 CAS. We have it pointed at 35 degrees northeast. And so we'll be checking that one out here as well. But we're going to start here with the Perseus and the Superloop out west, and doing our first hour of Live DX. This hour brought to you by National Radio Club. NationalRadioClub.org is where you want to go for more information about becoming a member today. Let's start here on the Perseus and take a look and see. I'm guessing we're going to hear Dallas if we're pointing west. Fox Sports. Now, having said that, it's been Dallas all week, but for the first time all week here in the last 24 hours or so, KZRG up in Missouri and Joplin has been the dominant station. With talk, we had Coast to Coast. I actually had an echo of Coast to Coast last night, which I was really excited about because I was hoping that one of them was going to be Mobile or Foley, Alabama here. I don't know who the second one was. I never did get an ID off of them. I also kind of hoped for that silently, KLIX and Idaho. Didn't happen, so we'll see. But yeah, we've got, right now it sounds like KZRG running Mark Levine right now. Again, let us know over here in the chat your guesses for our frequencies of the week and any shout-outs, new logs, new states, new countries. I've got the book here getting ready to write you guys down so we can get you some shout-outs a little bit later on in the show. All right, you know what time it is, my friends. It's top of the hour time. Let's see what we got. Not here, Barry. I wish. All right, who's that with the Christmas music? Hopefully we're going to find out in a second, I hope. I hope not. I'm tired of them. What? I'm guessing that's them. Yeah. Yeah. Ah. Not sure yet, David. I'm still doing some research. Probably something from Innov Antennas or Innovated, whatever. Innov Antennas. Probably who I'm going to order it from. The one I think they're over in UK. I'm thinking about it, something on the order of about 6 to 8 elements or more. I really want to beef up on my FM this year.
But here we are. Dallas is in first place in the country. They're sitting at 27 points. Winnipeg has 23 points. That's 4 points behind. But they played 2 less games than the Dallas Stars. This is one of those 24-point games where if Winnipeg wins, they take care of the games in hand. They move ahead of the Stars. If Dallas wins, Winnipeg can't catch them no matter what happens with the games in hand. It feels very weird to say this would be the end of the season series.
Oh, Rick, that would make my day. My bathroom song when I was in radio, the one that I could get away with was American Pie, but 23 minutes. That would be, and Echoes at that, which is one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs. I can help. I think that's also going to be Jackson. So anyway, we had KZRG there out of Joplin for a few moments with some talk radio. They had a little ID before top of the hour. Then Jackson took over, rather, DXI. You can kind of see here on the map the 4 or 5 that I have in white. AUC down here in Wauchula. JUS here in Marion, which actually is a little higher up. WDXI here in Jackson. KTCK in Dallas. KZRG in Joplin. Those are the 5 that I was able to pull out of the muck this week. Some shockers. No KMBS out of West Monroe. No WHEP out of Foley. Although I thought I may have heard them just for a moment around sunset today. They were doing a call-in, sports call-in, talking about Alabama football. And the playoffs and whatnot. And I thought for a second that I was hearing that on air as well, but then they were gone and took over by Joplin. Also, no KZYP here in Malvern, Arkansas Rocks Network. Not a hint of any of those 3. Very surprised about that, actually. That would help me kind of fill in that gap there that I feel like is there. But I know these guys here in Foley have a null in my direction. I would imagine KMBS and KZYP also do as well to protect each other, that kind of stuff. So, anywho, we'll keep trying. We're not done on 1310. We got some more work to do on it tonight. But before we before we go too crazy, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we have more live AMDX on the way. We're going to do our results video from week 8 when we were DXing 790 to 802. We're going to get ready for our big announcement here at the top of the hour, towards the top of the hour, of our new frequencies of the week and a whole lot more. So don't go away. We have more live DX and a dive in to the RSP DX and SDR Uno just around the corner here on DX Central Live.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
From Mandeville, Louisiana, and the North Shore Studios of DX Central, this is DX Central Live every Friday night at 6:45 Central. That's 00:45 UTC. Oh. And we bring you live AMDX every week. Right here on our four platforms. We have YouTube, we have Twitch, we have Facebook, we have Twitter. So no matter where you might be watching us tonight, we say hello and thank you. And be sure to join us in the chat as well. I'm seeing all four platform chats. I think it's, well, at least three of the four. I don't know if Twitter does. But Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, we've got you. If you're watching on any of those three, definitely hit the chat and let us know what you're hearing. We'll get you, we'll see it in here. We'll also take your submissions for shout outs if you have a new log or logs this week, new state or new country. Let us know. We'll get you a shout out here later on in the show. So I was talking a bit earlier and showed you guys kind of the sneak preview here of our RSPDX that we have up and running now on our second backup machine, our old laptop that used to be our primary machine. Now it's our backup. And so I'm running that. I'm using Google Remote Desktop to run that, stream it back over to my desktop PC and run it through the OBS here. But I can also use that obviously to DX from that machine wherever I might want to. So I can kind of just leave it up and running and kind of have it there. I'm going to do some work on the antennas for that machine and what I want to plug into it. But I'm also going to plug in my AirSpy HF Plus Discovery into this machine as well. So I can run either or both of those SDRs at once. That gives me the Perseus, the Elad, the AirSpy, the RSPDX, and then my FlexRadio ham radio transceiver SDR that we have. So we'll get up to 5 SDRs at once for comparison and testing and some of the different things that we want to do. So one of the reasons I was wanting to do that is I'm actually going to plug both of my AirSpys in here soon. I think probably this week. I'll be able to do some of it, hopefully. And we're going to do some side-by-side testing of my portable W6L VP loop, our U loop, our new K180, and our new MLA30 Plus that we got in this last week. So we're going to build those. We're going to do a build video on that, showing you what we've done. And then I'm going to do some side-by-side testing. So I was working on the methodology on that tonight. What I want to do is I'll have 2 AirSpy HF Plus discoveries, both running either SDR Console or SDR Sharp, one of the two. We're going to tune them to the same exact frequency, have one with, like, let's say the W6L VP loop, and the other with the K180 or the U loop or whatever. And we're going to do put both of those antennas on the same size PVC stand out in the yard, both about the exact same distance from the house, both separated out, the appropriate amount of distance between them. And we're going to point them in the exact same direction. And then we're just going to record the band and, a swath of frequencies. And I'm going to set up, I'm going to baseline each antenna with a 3-night baseline recording. And I'm going to see how many total stations on the recording am I able to hear, top of the hour, pulling IDs in. How many stations are we able to hear each night of those 3 nights on each antenna, using the exact same SDR both times, or all 3 times. And then we're going to average that out. And that's going to be our baseline. And then we're going to start doing the tests. We're going to test them side by side, the W6LVP with each of the other 3. We're going to test the K180 against each of the other 2, and then we're going to test the MLA30 against the U-loop. So that'll give every single antenna a chance to go up against the other. We're going to do comparisons, side-by-side comparisons, and everything else. And I want to get a really good analog here of what these antennas can do. These are the 4 of the more popular and budget-conscious, I'll put it that way, budget-conscious mag loops that are out there. For the average AMDXer. So I'm hoping that that's going to be a scientific enough and fair enough assessment of those antennas to be able to come out with some data to help folks. You know how I am. I'm not going to come out and say this one's the best, right? Because that's just not how I operate. But I'm going to give you all the recordings that you can kind of look at in comparison in the videos that I will produce, the data to go with it, and then you can decide based on the performance and the price points which ones work best for you. Okay, so one of the SDRs we're kind of using to do some testing here is the SDR Play. And I mention that because here, right now, actually, through the end of the year, the SDR Play RSPDX is on sale. And that is the exact SDR we're going to be using tonight. So they're actually running a holiday promotion now through the end of the year. With it on sale for $169.95. And if you go to Ham Radio Outlet, actually it's at $179 right now here on HRO, Ham Radio Outlet. So they may not have the full plus shipping, so I'm sure they're probably including some taxes and stuff like that in there, or the shipping in there. Anyway, so yes, if you go to HRO, Ham Radio Outlet right now, you'll see the SDR Play RSPDX is on sale right now for $179.95. So they have a couple of deals going on right now to reduce that price. Normally it's about $250 is what you normally would find for one of these. It's a really great SDR, and if you go to sdrplay.com, you can actually go to their products, go to RSPDX, and you can see some information about this particular model. I've had this one since 2019. I've taken it all over the place. I took it with me. Before I had my AirSpy HF Plus Discovery, this was my portable rig. Now with the AirSpy, it's much smaller. It's easier to kind of get around with, so I use it now for my portables. But you'll see it's got 3 antenna ports here on the side, 2 regular SMAs, and then a BNC that's got a bias T. It's a 4.7 volt bias T. So if you have a powered loop that will be powered from 4.7 volts, you can use that instead of having to have like an extra power inserter or whatever. You can use that bias T off of the antenna C with the BNC connection to power that loop. And then you could have, your SMA connections for any other antenna that you have. Like if you want to have a Yagi for FM and another antenna for AM or HF, you can do that, right? So you have some options, and you can switch those antennas in the software. I'll show you that in a bit. And you'll also see here a lot of the specs and things like that. So definitely check out sdrplay.com/RSPDX if you're wanting to know more about the details of this particular radio. So yeah, it's on sale right now for $179.95. So we're going to dive into that one here in a few moments and kind of show you guys some of the ins and outs, some of the things that I think are helpful to know about the radio from an AMDX perspective. Obviously from FM and shortwave, there are different things to consider. We're going to really kind of just zoom in on there on the AM side though. And then I would be remiss if I didn't also mention that at the same time right now, this is through, I want to say it's this week. There is a deal here for the AirSpy HF Plus Discovery, which is a fantastic little SDR. I mean, when I say little, I mean it's a tiny little guy, right? You see how big that is? A tiny little guy. You can get it right now for $135.20 here in the US. Fantastic SDR. Really, really, really strong performance. Comparable to the RSPDX. I think they're very, very similar. If I had to give an edge on performance, I would probably give it a little bit of an edge to the AirSpy. I say it's also comparable to my Perseus. If I'm going to be honest, it's very, very comparable. The biggest downside to the AirSpy is you can't do the entire band at once, the entire AM band at once. With the SDR Play, you can not only do the entire AM band, but you can do up to 10 megahertz wide. So you could do like half the FM band, right? So you could set your center frequency at 92.1. You could get everything from 88.1 all the way up to 94.1 or 96.1, right? Yeah, 96.1. So you get that whole swath there, basically, of the entire like bottom end of the FM band. Or no, I'm sorry, 93.1 down to 88 and then up to 98. That's right. I got that wrong. So anywhere from 88.1 up to 98.1, you can get that entire swath of the band at once. And then you could obviously, if the MUF starts going up, you could stop your recording and move up, center your frequency up a bit higher, and get everything from 107 down to like 97. So you could get the entire upper half of the band that way. Which is kind of what you have to do with the AirSpy on AM, by the way. It's kind of a similar approach. And so you can get about half the band at once. And so what I usually do is I'll record, like, today I'll do all the sunsets and sunrises on the bottom half, and then tomorrow I'll do the sunset, sunrise on the upper half. Or I'll do sunrise on the bottom half, sunset at the upper half, and then I'll switch it, right? So I've done that whenever I take it portable. And it works really, really well. So I don't personally think it's that big of a deal that you can't record the entire band. Some folks do, and that's why I say there is no answer here when there's what's the best radio, right? Because everybody has different things that are important to them. For me, it's not a thing that would keep me from using it on a regular basis. Excuse me. The main reason I use my Perseus in the shack is for the Jaguar software, which only works with the Perseus. But if I was still using SDR Console as my primary piece of software, or SDR Sharp, I'd be using the AirSpy, I'd be using the RSPDX, and kind of that kind of thing. Excuse me. So yes, $135.20 for the HF Plus Discovery right now, $179.95 for the RSPDX. So make sure, take a look at both of those. I've got both of them. I'm sure they would not mind one bit if you got both. So yeah, just some things to kind of think about there. I guess I have timed out here on my my connection here. So let me reconnect my my PC here. And then we'll get this RSPDX up and running so you guys can kind of check it out. It's a really great got tickle in my throat. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Don't mean to cough in your face there. It's a really great radio for AMDX because there is actually some functionality built in into the SDR Uno software, especially. It's kind of made for AMDXers. And so what I'm going to do now is we're actually going to walk through this RSPDX and the SDR Uno software. You can use SDR Console. You can use HD SDR with the RSPDX and a couple others as well. They actually have a list on the SDR Play website of what software you can use with the RSPDX. But as of right now, but if you're going to use the native software, which I usually try in most cases to use the native software of the SDR that I'm working with. There are exceptions to that, but most of the time I try to. So if you're going to use the RSPDX and you want to use that native software, this is it, SDR Uno. Now, they are coming out with a replacement for SDR Uno sometime. It's supposed to be by the end of the year, early next year, called SDR Connect. That's supposed to have a bunch of new features and a bunch of different coolness to it that is going to make SDR Uno obsolete, but we'll see about that. For right now, though, SDR Uno is where we are. And I want to show you guys some things about it because I think it's a little bit tricky to kind of navigate personally compared to some of the other software that's out there. And I want to show you specifically to AMDX some things you're going to want to take advantage of or at least know about. So when you pull it up, you'll probably see a bunch of these. These are all individual little tiles. And you can see that because if you hover over the SDR Uno icon, you'll see all those individual little windows down there, as opposed to, say, if I'm using SDR Console here, where I do still have a bunch of little windows and tiles, but it's all self-contained within SDR Console. So I feel like it's easier to work with than having all these individual little things that I got to do. Oops, I just opened up on the wrong piece of software on the wrong computer. So from that standpoint, I don't like SDR Uno from an interface standpoint. The interface is not really my favorite, but it'll do the trick. We're gonna shut that down. Yeah, here we go. It will do the trick, and once you kind of at least kind of know where things are located, it's not that bad. It's just kind of, I feel like I don't want to say it's too much. There's too much that you can control here and too many settings, but it kind of feels that way. This is the most recent version. This is version 1.42. So when you get it in here and you kind of set all the tiles up the way that you want to and resize everything and place it kind of how you think it looks good, this is kind of how I have got mine set up right now. So when you get it in, you got everything installed, you got your RSPDX or whatever SDR Play software or SDR you're using, hit the play button, the green play button. That's what starts everything running. You're going to be, when you first start out, in this mode, LIF. LIF is kind of the stock mode for just regular HF work or FM work or whatever. But since we are DXing down below 2 megahertz, we want to engage what's called HDR mode, high definition, high dynamic range. That's what we're wanting to use here, because what that basically does is it helps reduce the likelihood of any spurious signals or intermod, overloading from like FM stations you might have in your area. Of course, I am in the New Orleans area here with a ton of FM, especially high-powered FM stations. So that's something I'm vulnerable to. So I want to try to make sure that they're not, interfering with my ability to DX AM. So it basically, it's kind of a bandpass in a way that, and it also increases the dynamic range of your SDR in that low, long wave and medium wave portions of the band. So to get that, you just click on this button right here that says MW. I'm going to click on that, and you'll see here it takes you to 1125 kilohertz. That's another thing that I'm not super loving about SDR Uno, is when you do that, it changes now to your center frequency. So I have to actually go back in and reset to my frequency that I want it to be, and then also reset to my mode that I want to use here as well. That's not the end of the world, honestly, that I have to do that, but it's just kind of annoying, to kind of have to go back in there and redo that every time that you switch that over. So just hoping that's something they fix in the new one. So you have a bunch of different filtering options here, and modes and things like. I'm in synchronous AM right now with the dual sideband, double sideband initiated. I can also do the lower or upper by itself here on the synchronous AM. You have some filtering here that you can use as kind of like default filters, but you've got this window over here as well. And right now I'm in dual sideband, so I can switch, pull this in manually, and it's going to pull it on both sides since we're in dual sideband. If I was in lower, obviously it's only going to be this lower end. When I pull this in, I'm just pulling off and kind of rolling off here off this bottom end like that. So, and you'll see here as well that when I go to lower sideband or upper sideband, my filter options change right here. If I go back to dual, now I've got wider options. So, I typically, unless I have a reason not to be, like a strong station adjacent channel that I'm trying to get rid of, I'm usually in dual sideband. But like I said, if I was sitting on 1340 right now, I have a local on 1350, I'd move it over to lower sideband, and that would help me out a little bit. I can also disengage the synchronous as well and just go regular lower sideband as well. But the synchronous helps you with fading and kind of locking in on the carrier and things like that. Another thing that you'll want to make sure that you kind of keep in mind is the RF gain. Again, here in my area where I am, we have a lot of high-powered AM stations as well. We have a 50,000 watt or WWL down here to the south of me across the lake that, is heard all around the world. So I've got to contend with that along with some others. So if you have your RF gain jacked up all the way here, it's going to overload your RSPDX, and you're not going to hear anything. In fact, what you're going to hear sounds a little like this. Just absolute mush. So you're going to want to back that down. If you see that overload here, back it down, your RF gain, until you don't see it anymore. Now, I got to 8.9, that's where that dropped off. I usually go one more below that. I keep mine set around 5.7, and here's what I hear as a result. Okay, so I actually have audio now that I can DX. You'll play with that. And I also, like on graveyarders, I'll back that off even further down, 8, 9, 10 below, right? I'll go negative 8, 10 dB, and basically attenuation now instead of gain. It's attenuation to reduce that kind of roar on the graveyard frequency. So just something to kind of keep in mind. The two most important things that you'll probably want to engage for AM DXing is the high dynamic range, HDR mode, back off your RF gain, and also play with this AM soft filter a little bit. Sometimes I notice a difference, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it can take some of the harshness out of the signals. I don't know. I haven't read up on the manual a whole lot on what it does. I'm guessing it's really more for like, okay, let me just actually engage it here. Okay. So it kind of takes that AM signal and kind of softens it up a little bit, makes it sound a little bit more like when I'm in my dual or low or upper sideband. So it kind of takes some of the high end off of that, or kind of tightens it up a little bit, so it sounds like. So sometimes that can help. So you can kind of play around with that. It does have noise reduction. How you adjust that is just by going over here where the meter is and basically click and drag it where you want it. Same thing, you have a noise blanker. You have your automatic gain control threshold, so you can adjust that. You also have an AGC high, fast, medium, slow, like you normally do. Your volume is right here. That took me a while to remember how to find that. Your volume is right here. You can also mute it right here if you want to keep it rolling through, but want to mute your audio. You can do that. You do have AB VFOs, so I can go over here to this other VFO here, and let's just say I'm sitting at 640 kilohertz, and I've got Progresso coming in, and I want to see if the other frequency that I'm listening to also is that. So I can do that. I can swap between those two VFOs. So that's nice, and you can also do multiple receivers and things like that as well. I just don't play around with that a whole lot. That's really the majority. Oh, there is a recorder. They did release this in a not too long ago version of SDR Uno. They updated it to include a recording scheduler, because that was to me a huge glaring problem with this software. Was I couldn't schedule. I could only hit record while I was live DXing, and then I could leave and come back later. But I couldn't like schedule it to be autonomous while I was sleeping or whatever, and just kind of running on its own. This now has that. So you have a scheduler. It's a little button right up here on your main window where you hit play to get things started where your RF gain is. There's a button here that says scheduler. So you can hit that, and then you can add in a schedule. It's a pretty self-explanatory interface here. So you can just set up how you want it to run, what frequency range and so forth. So that's how you can kind of do that. To record live, you just hit the record button on the scheduler. So you have to open up the scheduler and then hit record. That's where your regular IQ recording is if you want to record live. So I just hit record, and you'll see right here it says recording. That's how you know it's recording. That's the way that you'll know it's recording, is because it says recording right down here in gray. Not super easy to see, but it's there at least. And that's it. And those are the main things for me for an AM as an AM DXer. You can zoom in on your carriers a bit. Not to the level of detail that you can on some of the other pieces of software like Jaguar or even SDR Console, but you can get in there pretty good. So you can kind of see it's about anything within that 500 hertz below or above is going to be in there. You can kind of see it. But once it starts getting really, really tight in on the actual center frequency, you can't really distinguish too much between them. If you guys know of a different way to do it and make it even tighter, then let me know. I haven't found anything else to get it any tighter than that. And that's it. That's the RSPDX within SDR Uno. You can also run it in SDR Console. And there is, I think through the API, you can also engage the high dynamic range in SDR Console. I have had hit or miss success with that. It works, but there's some nuances to it. But if we're just talking about SDR Uno, we're talking about the RSPDX with that. These are the main things you'll want to kind of keep in mind. So hopefully this has helped you out. If you're a user of or considering being a user of the software here or the RSPDX in general, then hopefully this can help you out. One of the things that I love, I'll say this, I wish some of the other SDR software manufacturers, and I'm not looking at anybody in particular when I say this, would do this. I know SDR Console does and a couple of the others, but there are some that don't, and it's a shame. I like having a numeric signal meter here, and the reason why is because I can use that to help me with phasing. If I see that number going down, 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 I continue. When I see it coming back up again, I know I've gone too far. I need to go back the other way. I can get to that low point on the signal meter much easier if I have a nice accurate number to shoot for, right? Some of the other software that I'm not going to mention the names of, they don't have that. They have, in this case, this one particular software I'm thinking of, they have a scale that goes up to like a 5. And so anything up to 5, anything of, it's like strongest signal is a 5, and then it goes down to like a 0 point something, 0.1 or whatever. But it's kind of arbitrary to me. So I like you have a couple of different ways. You have this visual meter here. You've got a meter right here, readout. You got another one up here. So you've got a couple of different ways you can kind of see that signal. I like that. To change frequencies, you can either click in the box and type it in. You can do that. Or if you have a mouse like I do with the scroll wheel, you can set your tuning step. In this case, I've got it set to 10 kilohertz, and I just use my scroll wheel here to scroll 10K at a time. Obviously, I can change that to 9K if I wanted to, but right now I've got it at 10K. And that's it. So, again, I hope that helps you guys out with your DX pursuits of the SDR Play RSPDX. Obviously, if you have one of the other pieces of SDR Play software, SDR, such as the RSP1 and RSP2, the Duo, you can also use the same stuff here in RSP or SDR Uno, with the exception of the HDR. That's only in the RSPDX, as far as I'm aware. So there you go. All right. Use the aux window for zoom in. Over here, this guy. Oh yeah, I guess that would make sense. If I'm going to zoom in on just that one, I can increase the size on that one. Doop, 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 doop. There we go. So I can get real nice and tight. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. Nice. Nice, guys. That's pretty cool. So now I can see some of those individual carriers in there now. Nice. So that helps. See, we are learning together. Look at that. And I'm going to tighten that up and put this back over here now. And then come back over here and do that. And then boom. Okay. So if you have any other questions, hit me in the... I haven't looked at the chat in a bit until while I was just sitting here yammering on. So if you have any questions, I'll circle back around to them as we go through the night here about the RSPDX or SDR Uno software. I don't spend a lot of time in here, so I'm not like super duper familiar with it, like I am some of these other pieces of software, but I know enough to at least let me DX and be able to be dangerous. So I'm not a, huge expert at this particular one, but like I said, I know enough to at least be able to get it going. Another thing you can do that I kind of like, you can do just the spectrum display. You can do just the waterfall. You can do both, like we've been looking at. You can also do a combo where it's overlaid over top of each other, which is kind of nice. I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. So you have some different options there. All right. On to our next topic of discussion. I'll check the chat here in a few moments to see what you guys have been talking about while I was talking. Before we get back into live DX, I wanted to touch on a topic here that I've been seeing a lot in some of the social media posts, email reflectors that people are putting out. And I just wanted to take a second to touch on something about utilizing live streams to identify stations. Okay. I see this happening a lot, and a lot. We have to be very careful utilizing a live stream for identifying or validating the station that we're hearing. Let me explain what I mean by that. Stations outside of the US are not as prone to this because there's fewer of them usually. And when there are stations on a frequency, multiple stations on a frequency in a particular country, they tend to not use the same network on the same frequency. So with exceptions, there are exceptions. But let's say I'm listening to kHz radio out of Colombia and I'm on 810. There's not going to usually be more than one kHz radio on 810 out of Colombia. Usually one. There are, again, exceptions to that. Cuba comes to mind. There's many different locations, sometimes on a single frequency that carry the same network. Mexico comes to mind. We have on 540, we have 2 stations running the same program, the Los 40. So there are exceptions, but by and large, outside of the US, a live stream, if you hear a song playing on the live stream that's matching what you're hearing, there's a good chance that what you're hearing is that station indeed. In the US, whole different ball game. Just because you hear a station playing Bad Leroy Brown, right? You're hearing Bad Leroy Brown on the air. You go to a live stream and you hear Leroy Brown playing. Does that mean that that station that you're hearing is the station that you're streaming? Not necessarily. And the reason why is a lot of these stations use syndicated programming, especially after hours. And since most of our DX is happening overnight, and I can validate that for you with our medium wave frequency challenge results for the last 2 years, sometimes on the order of 50 to 60% or more of our DX we're doing overnight. Since we're doing that at those hours, those are going to be largely automated, syndicated satellite or, through Ethernet or through a network or whatever connection. It's not live. They're not programming that themselves usually, right? So I worked at several of these stations. One of those was 680 WRGC in Jackson County, North Carolina, Sylvan, North Carolina. We ran ABC Network's version of Adult Contemporary. And so they would give us, you could either run the satellite and just run it through the satellite and just run whatever they were playing. And they'd have these little triggers that would fire off and you'd have your IDs or your slogans or whatever, your commercial breaks, things like that. But the music was the music. They would also print you off. You could print off a list of every hour what songs they were playing. And when I was a DJ, my responsibility was to stick to that playlist and pull those CDs and play them, right? So, but it was the same. If I was doing my job, I was playing the same thing that any other station carrying that network was carrying. So I say this because I see people sometimes that will go in. I think one of them recently that caught my eye was a classic country station. There was somebody was saying, yeah, I'm hearing classic country. And so I just did a country syndicated radio shows. Okay. I just did a Google search for classic country syndicated radio. And there's Pure American Country from Syndication Networks. There's some that have like very specific shows. If that ain't country, there was Westwood One. There it is. Classic country, Westwood One. This is what I was looking for. So Westwood One. So if you're a Westwood One affiliate, if you carry like CBS News or any kind of Westwood One stuff, you can also use this, or vice versa. If you're using this, you might have some of the other Westwood One programming. Like at WRGC, we carried ABC's AC format, but we also ran ABC News at the top of the hour. That was kind of part and parcel. You had to do both, right? So here's Westwood One's classic country format. You can see some of the songs that they play and some of the information about it. So you can see their clock and things along those lines here for their local format program, their total clock and things like that, to know when their breaks are. So just because you have matched up what you're hearing on air with what you're seeing on a stream doesn't mean that that's a dead ringer for that station. There's a very good chance that there is another station on that frequency that could be playing that. And I've actually caught myself a couple of times over the years being like, yep, that's them. And then I go back and I find there's another station running the exact same syndicated format on that frequency. And it's not who I thought it was. So just be careful if you're doing that. Use that to help you at least narrow it down to say, I know that I'm hearing this right now, and I know that that station that I'm targeting also is playing that same thing. That can help you to what to listen for and kind of lock in on that. And so if you can, find either their stream and know when they're doing their breaks, or I'm sorry, I wasn't showing you guys my screen here, was I? Here it is. This is the classic country that I was looking for. Classic Gold, 24/7 format, classic country. This is it. You can see some of the different songs that are on the list and the artists and things like that. So this is an example. This is Westwood One. This is just one syndication option that's out there. ABC's got them. I know iHeart's got tons of them with Premiere and things like that. Entire formats. Country music, AC, bluegrass, blues, rock and roll, classic rock, you name it. Gospel, contemporary Christian, all of it, right? Just because you're hearing it and on air and on the stream doesn't mean necessarily that that's 100% match. They could have other stations on that frequency carrying the same thing. I run into this all the time on FM. When I'm doing FMDX during E-skip season, you'll have a station fading in, playing one song, and then they'll fade out, and then you'll have another station playing the exact same song, but it's like earlier in the song. And you're like, wow, they're playing the exact same song, right? Those sometimes they're not, but sometimes those are running the same syndicated program. So just be careful. Something I want to make sure I kind of touched on tonight, because I have seen a lot of DXers using that kind of criteria lately of, hey, I matched up against a stream, so that's them 100%. You're about 70% there. You'll still want to listen for an ID or a slogan or some local ads, things like that, to really slam dunk that. I had a chance this week. I had to be UC down in Florida, Wauchula, Florida, and I had some programming coming in, and it wasn't until I heard them talking about U.S. Highway 17 in Wauchula. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, God, on it. So it was for local business there in the area. So that kind of stuff can help you. The stream can be helpful to narrow it down, but it's not always a dead ringer. Think about, just because you hear ESPN coming on air and you hear ESPN on the stream, it's an ESPN station. But that's a little more obvious, right? That's an obvious network. Sometimes those other networks aren't as obvious. They're not on the surface. They're a little more buried on purpose. They don't necessarily want you to know you're listening to syndicated program from Westwood One, right? Or whatever it might be. So just something to kind of think about. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get back to some live DX. We'll do our announcement for the new week. We still have to do our results from last week, from week 8 rather. We still have to do that. Our DXC tweet of the week, got a lot to get to. So let's do a quick break. When we come back, more live DX is on the way right here on DX Central Live.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. in languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams. We listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. We are sitting on 1310 and 774 this week. We're going to finish that up here in a second. But first, we want to do two things. One, we wanted to look at our results from week 8 from our medium wave frequency challenge, which was 790 to 802, and then get ready to announce here towards the top of the hour our new frequency of the week for week 10. All right, you guys ready? Let's go ahead and start off by looking back to week number 8 for the medium wave frequency challenge. All right, there you go. It's week 8 wrapped. Congrats to all of our category winners, our overall winners, and those folks who were that close. Jeff and Barry tied with each other at 28 apiece. My goodness, you guys are just absolutely crushing it with these logs each week to see that the totals coming in this year. I thought last year we were doing great, right? 8, 9, 10 in a week. You guys are just blowing that out of the water every week. So kudos to you and congratulations. We're getting ready to announce our new frequency of the week here in a few moments. But before we do, let's finish up here on 1310. Back over here on the RSPDX. Let's do some more. That's got to be Jackson. You got to get Jaguar, Barry. Jaguar's where it's at. You want the audio? Get Jaguar. Unmatched. Unmatched. So Troy, that's what we lived here in New Orleans the first time, every night I would listen to 87.7, our local channel 6 here, WDSU, NBC affiliate. I would have that in my next to my bed every night, listening to the radio as I would go to sleep every night. And I do miss that a lot. It was also really great for FMDX, right? All right, so we've got Jackson in there. I think DXI is running Christmas music now. Fleetwood Mac may have been Arkansas, KZYP. I know they have classic rock, among others. There's also a station in New York. A couple of others. All right, let's put a pause on that, and let's get ready to announce our new frequencies of the week. One of the things that I have set to do here, as we've kind of done the challenge this year, is not repeat. I didn't want to go back and repeat anything that we did last year. I wanted all new frequencies every week. However, there is one in particular range of frequencies that we did last year that was A, so much fun, B, so productive, and C, I still have work to do. So, with that in mind, we're going back. It's take 2 of the expanded band. We're going back to the expanded band, and we're going to see what we can find. There's a couple frequencies in there. I still have some work to do, so I want to do that. And, yeah, I think we're going to have some fun with this one, guys. 1610 to 1710, and it's a great excuse for you guys to do some hunting for TIS stations. They count for this challenge. They also count for the TIS hard challenge. So you can double up, right? You can hit both challenges at once. The frequency challenge and the TIS hard challenge. For any of you who missed it last year, when we did the expanded band last year, this one was so freaking fun. I can't wait. This is going to be a lot of fun this time again going in. The frequencies I need the most to work on here, just so you know, I'll be spending a lot of time on 1620, 1630, 1640, and 1680, and 1690. There's not a lot on those frequencies for me to hear, but I'm going to squeeze that lemon and get every little bit of juice that I can out of it. So let's, for our top of the hour time frame here, let's just set up on 1690 for now, here on the RSPDX, and start with that. It's top of the hour time frame. Let's go. We're going red. We're going for some new expanded band stuff. Let's have at it.
Bringing you the My Pillow that started it all. My Pillow patented pill adjusts your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. Because it works, we've sold over 70 million My Pillows, and now I'm bringing it to you for the lowest price ever. For example, you get the standard My Pillow now for
And we're recording on the Perseus and Jaguar, so we're going to go back to that after the top of the hour to see what we saw on every freak.
My Pillows make the best gift ever, and the time for you, and one thing we all need is getting a great night's sleep. So go to mypillow.com or call that number on your screen now. Use your promo code, and you'll get my standard My Pillow.
The new blog post should be up here at the top of the hour that has the Google form and the links for the last week's results. So here in about a minute and a half, that blog post will be up on dxcentralonline.com. We'll post it up in the chat here in a minute as well.
MyPillow.com, promo code Godzilla. Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers to make carriers. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar of price.
I've got two in here. I'm guessing one of them is Georgia. The other one's Maryland. I'll be very happy.
That's a 2-in-1 site. They can go to that landing page and they can actually fill out information. That out.
Sending mixed messages when it comes to negotiating a possible nationwide rail strike. Here's Greg Funston with the latest. Earlier this week, Press Secretary Kareem Jean-Pierre said President Biden is an active participant in talks with the railroad companies and unions.
The president is indeed involved directly, but I don't want to get into details at this time, but he has been involved.
But on Thanksgiving, the president told reporters he was not directly engaged in the talks. Manufacturing and retail groups warned that a rail strike could idle shipments of food and fuel while inflicting billions of dollars of damage to an already struggling national economy. Greg Funston, Washington. Shoppers are out for some Black Friday discounts, hoping to get some as stores try to entice consumers eager to get started on the holiday shopping, but many, of course, weighed down by inflation. Also, at townhall.com, COVID is still with us. A year after Omicron began its assault on humanity, the ever-morphing coronavirus news drove the COVID-19 case count higher in many places just as Americans gathered for Thanksgiving. It's a prelude to a wave that experts expect to soon wash over the U.S. Nationally, new COVID cases average around 39,300 a day as of Tuesday, far lower than last winter, but a vast undercount because of reduced testing. About 28,000 people with COVID were hospitalized daily, and about 340 died. John Scott reports Russian missiles striking the city of Kherson in a marked escalation attack since Russia withdrew 2 weeks ago. At least 11 people killed in the latest round of strikes that began late Thursday and continued into Friday morning. Meanwhile, Ukraine is battling bitter cold. More on these stories at townhall.com.
My name is Adam Bavana. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold, the highest-rated precious metals firm in the country. Now, we've won the Best of Trustlick Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Hi, this is Dennis Springer. As you know, the culmination of my life's work is deriving my National Bible Commentary series. I have Genesis, Exodus, and the just released Deuteronomy. They are all called the Rational Bible because my
Yes, Carl.
entirely faith-based.
Yes, TIS stations count for both this and the TIS Hard Challenge. So if you get anything for the from TIS stations on the expanded band, that counts for this week's challenge and the ongoing TIS Hard Challenge if you submit on both forms.
Prosecutors in Mexico pushing for the extradition of an American woman suspected in the death of one of her traveling companions. Correspondent Donna Warder takes a look at an unusual murder south of the border.
Mexican prosecutors have not named the woman they filed charges against, but a video that has been widely circulating on social media shows Shanquella Robinson of Charlotte, North Carolina, being beaten by another woman. A man with an American accent can be heard asking Robinson, "Can you at least fight back?" Robinson says, "No." An autopsy revealed that Robinson died of a
So crazy.
To 34,347. The NASDAQ lost 59 points to 11,226. The S&P 500 dropped 1 point to 4,026. New York oil fell $1.66 to $76.28 a barrel. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott. More on these stories.
Without becoming stronger in 12 seconds. 5 years later, this is only 8 seconds. 1 second less than a gold standard. If you're honest with that, first couple of calls for permission, you're likely to fall behind in this amazing fast lane 21st century. As a rational monitoring performance is more critical now than ever. Your brain power is right now focused on plus recall. Science and manufacturing cells which are concentrate loss. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no day like our technology. From tiny point to gigantic cellular war, you can save track. And use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's HealthCell.com. Code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Oh, please tell me that Mr. Sandman is Maryland. If anyone has ears on Maryland, please tell me they're playing Mr. Sandman right now. This is an exception because there's so few stations playing that format on this frequency. This is one I would know that's them. Oh, I already got them, Barry. I got them back at last October, November. Was that them, John? I desperately need Maryland here. Was that them? I could probably pull their stream up. Oh, this is another good example. We have the national... I'm not being disrespectful, obviously. The national anthem playing. A lot of folks think it's somebody signing on, signing off. It's Mark Levine. Mark Levin.
everybody to come. Turn on your magic beam.
Funny, Mr. Producer says, you know, right before the show, you sound like you're sick, and then you get on and you're pound away. It's called trying to be a professional. Hello, yes. America, Mark Levin here. Our number 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811.
Mark Levin is probably Avondale Estates, Atlanta area there. 1126. 25, I guess. Say 25. Right? Yeah, 25th. Already, this is paying off. This is already paying off. Being on these expanded band frequencies. That's a new one for me, guys. I think, if I remember right, that's a new state. Let me go back to my logbook. Stats. State. Oh, you betcha. Yeah, that's a new state, folks. From Mandeville, that's a new one. Yeah, buddy. You see, this is another thing we were talking about this week on social media. These talk stations where you have a little bit of a pause in between them talking or coming out of a break, going into before they start playing the rejoinder music. Sometimes you get that little bit of pause and hear something underneath. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly how I got Maryland just now. Let's switch it up and let's go back over here and look back on our Perseus. We can put it over on that. And see what we caught here at top of the hour on the Perseus. We're going to do the entire expanded band on the Perseus here and see what we caught in the Jaguar software. So let's start down here at 1610. I don't think we'll have got anything here because we haven't really heard a lot yet of... I'm sorry, I'm still... Woohoo! Park, Maryland. We're gonna do some fireworks on that one here in a little bit because that one's exciting. Anytime now in Louisiana, if I can hear the East Coast like that, man. In Charleston, they were a pest. Not anymore. Not anymore. And after I was over here just now talking about be careful if you're using music to match up on their streams, and then I do the exact same thing. But again, there's nobody else playing that song on 1690. Let's be honest, right? That's it. Unless it was somebody doing it like on a network rejoiner or something like that, or somebody carrying some random little thing, but it wasn't. So there we go. Let's start on 1610 and see what we had here top of the hour time. Ugh. Duh. That, I'm guessing that ain't nothing, so we're going to go to 1620 now.
Hit a speed bump, you won't be spilled out. The battery is also reportedly capable of going over 7 miles on a single charge. If you had to ride around the office for 7 miles, I wonder if you could get that to work with your...
I'm guessing Mark Levin is probably Avondale Estates, WMLB. I didn't hear an ID from them. They may have done it at the top of the hour when they were kind of faded out, but they may be them. I am on my Northeast wire on that. That was the 1690 again. I am on the Northeast wire there, so that's pointing right at him. So I finally freaking got him. Oh, I've been wanting those guys for a long time, and that gets me 4 now on 1690. So I'm good. I want 4 or more on every frequency. I'm good. 1620. This is one of those that I need some help on. I've got Rebeldy. I've got WNRP in Gulf Breeze. I've got WTAW in College Station. I don't have OZN. Rick, can you send some signal down my way? I don't have the Cali or obviously the Washington. That would be great. And I don't have the Virgin Islands here. I had them when I was in Charleston, but I don't have them here. So I'll be spending some time with the Southeast Wire this week looking for WDHP on 1620. But let's go back now and see what we had here at top of the hour.
Make it look like you're actually taking those steps, and then look like you're getting in charge. Volkswagen says this chair. Oh man, this is the sad part. It's a one-off and won't be mass-produced. But we know you still want it. Hey, thanks for letting me sit in for the great and legendary Joe Pags. I am Leland Conway. Had a blast talking to you. It is the Joe Pags Show.
So 90% here. I've probably got NRP and Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, and the Spanish station underneath is Rebelity. Let's fast forward a little bit. Oh no, it was TAW. I forgot I'm on the West Wire, that's why.
It's been a good century, and the next one's going to...
And College Station, by the way, is the home of obviously Texas A&M, and that's who LSU plays this week. So I may have to break out the Fighting Tigers theme song here, the fight song here, a few minutes again.
We're 100 years old and haven't felt this good since we were born. 625 WTAW College Station Bryan.
I wonder if that's them underneath here. Because the music that we had there was TAW. We have the Spanish station underneath them, but then there's another station here that sounds like they're doing some sports. I bet that's OZN.
The U.S. ambassador to Ukraine blasting the Russians for launching more missile attacks on civilians.
Russia showing the recently liberated city of Kherson, Zone 15. This is Ukrainian struggle to regain power and heat and water after the devastating attacks by Russia on civilian infrastructure. U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Bridget Brink, visited a power and heating hub at Kiev's main train station. In an exclusive interview with Fox News, Brink called Russia's attacks horrific and unconscionable, branding them war crimes. Regarding reports the U.S. is trying to get Kyiv to speak with Moscow, she noted it is up to the Ukrainians how they wish to negotiate.
Fox's Greg Palcott in Kyiv. U.S.-backed coalition forces in eastern Syria coming under artillery fire. 2 rockets landing near a U.S. outpost.
Let me go live.
Action going on in the pile. Bodies being blown. Let's go down to Tom Walker, the sideline.
This is live. I'm guessing that's also still TAW. I'm guessing that's TAW, Barry? Unless Rick says it's OZN, but I think he said they were doing a call-in show.
In 2003, 2004, 2006, and 2007.
This could also, since they're carrying Florida, could be Gulf Breeze.
Back in the early 2000s in the Clemson-Florida State Series with Coach Bowden and his son Tommy.
All right, we got to get somebody over the top of Pearsall in the slot. We have not been able
I think it's TAW.
man to man. And you got to think that's where they're going.
He slot left, trips to the left side. Johnson to the right, Richardson in the gun. Here comes pressure. 3rd and 10. He stops, he throws. Near side, incomplete. Near sideline. Knowles on in coverage, and it will be 4th down. Excellent effort.
But Florida is playing Florida State, so.
Kevin Knowles on in coverage and doing a great job. Jordan Pouncey, the 6th-year wide receiver from Winter Park, Florida. One of the young receivers thrust into action tonight.
Tell you what, dog, a good job McClendon getting there, breathing down the neck of the quarterback. He could have got home on that. He almost got his hand on that ball before it was thrown, but great job by Knowles. This coverage right there.
So this game we're listening, this is live. This is Florida State. So I'm looking to see if NRP might be ready.
Sale prices from General Steel. That's right. Start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 866-95-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 866-95-STEEL. Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel. Great. The reason I went with General Steel.
Training restrictions. We are unable to bring you the FSU program.
Yep. Okay. So the football game is WNRP and Gulf Breeze, Florida. The ones that's carrying, at least if you're hearing Florida State, Florida, that's who that is. That's Gulf Breeze. Rick said Nebraska, KOZN is running a call-in show right now about Nebraska football. So there's that. And then WTAW, I'm not sure what they're running now. They were running talk here a little bit ago, so I'm not sure what they're running now, though. Let me see if I can dial them in a little bit.
$10 off your order. Send an assortment of mouth-watering favorites guaranteed to impress, like the legendary Butcher's Cut Filet.
In the Spanish station that you hear here is likely Rebeldi as well.
Burgers and even easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. Omaha Steaks is ready to ship your order right away, so shop early and beat the shipping rush. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code QUALITY at checkout. Omaha Steaks is a gift from the heart, a gift that'll be remembered with every unforgettable bite. Order with complete confidence today, knowing you're ordering the very best. Visit Omaha Steaks.
Okay, so there we go. There is, well, hold on.
$20 off your order. Minimum order may be required.
Hold on.
Hi, I'm Zach Taylor with the Infomaniacs. If you didn't catch us talking words in the new Scrabble dictionary, here's some of what you missed.
Rather than embolden, it's embiggen.
Okay.
I don't know. It sounds made up to me.
Yeah, that one's a little bit.
There's some others that are compound words like dead name, alley ship, and baby moon.
Oh, okay. I've heard of the baby moon. Yeah, so instead of right before the baby is born, obviously as long as you can travel, parents will baby moon.
Ooh, Rebelli's coming in now. So that's 1620. For me, at least here, I know some of you guys have a little bit different look with KOZN in the Midwest, but here I've got Rebeldi, I've got Gulf Breeze, Florida, I've got WTAW College Station. I'm not going to give up on Virgin Islands. I'm not going to give up on Nebraska. I'm giving up on Washington, but maybe I can squeeze out the Cali station. I did hear a station in California on, I want to say it was 1650. I think it was 1650. Or 40, 30 maybe. Where was that damn thing? 1670? 1670. KHPY. I heard them out of Moreno Valley one night on my RSP or my W6LVP loop. So I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It's just pretty unlikely. Let's go now back to, let's do 1630 now and see what we caught at the top of the hour here on 1630. Oof, that hash. That IBOC hash is just brutal. Absolutely brutal. Oof. Yeah. It's brutal. I'm assuming this is KCJJ. This, again, we've rewound, by the way, Rick, in case you're trying to parallel. We've rewound at the top of the hour here. I'm assuming this is what KCJJ was running. This is one, though, I am desperately trying to hear Wyoming. I really, really, really want Wyoming. We've also got Dallas here with BIN Dallas. Those are the two main ones. We did have Elohim down here in El Salvador that I heard last year. I haven't heard him since. So those are the three that we have here. I really, really want to add Wyoming, though. Wow, that was a hell of an ID. Yeah, that was KCJJ. Okay, so that's what we had top of the hour on 1630. Let's go back live. Is that KCJJ with the pop? Oh, have they? I need to spend some more time on 1630 this week looking for Wyoming. Then I'm pointing my southeast wire back northwest. I'm doing this. Oh my God, I want Wyoming. 2 new states in 1 week? Come on. They put me at 38. Just nothing there. Wow, just nothing there. I might try for Ottawa, too. Look at me getting cocky. Ottawa Airport Station. Not happening.
Are you looking for a place that sells some really cool smoking accessories? Check out the Cedar Rapids.
Upper or lower, Rob?
They're made by local artists. Check out the United. They also carry an awesome assortment of vapes, water pipes, e-vapes, shisha, and over 175 e-liquid flavors. So if you're looking for vape supply and explore with a great and knowledgeable staff, look no further.
You'd be surprised, Alan. There's a lot of stuff that you guys hear in like the Dallas area, some of the guys over here in like Arkansas, Fort Smith, in Southwest Arkansas, that you guys hear stuff that I have never heard. Into Canada, out west, stuff like that. It surprises me. I thought the same thing. I was like, it's not that much further, but it's about the same as the difference when I was in Charleston compared to when I was in Outer Banks. I lived in Charleston and I took a trip to Outer Banks. Completely different band. Just that short little distance. 1629.68. So let's back it up here a little. 1629.68, he says. I'd see it somewhere in here. Not on the Superloop. Oh, there might be a hint of something there. At one time. Let me swap it over to the southeast, just in case it's something down low. Looks like it's popping up now on the southeast wire. Let me see if I have anything listed here. 1629.68. No, I don't have anything listed at that on my lists. There's a 1629.8. 84, that's Argentina. I am seeing a het there now, though. It's 6813. Very weak. I don't think I have any chance of getting any audio out of that. Unless I can strengthen it with some vactrol adjustments here. If I wide open that resistance, I'm getting... Yikes, spikes. Okay, now it's an audible het. I do hear it. Let me turn that AGC off. It's a weak het at, yeah, 1629.68. I'm seeing it too, Rob. I don't have anything on my list that would match that, though. So I don't know. But yeah, it's there. For sure. That's a good question. We have a new mystery. Let's do 1640 now. We've kind of got what we can out of this one for now. Let's go to 1640. Let's go back to top of the hour first.
The kicker on the as they do have one touchdown, 10-6 our score as we approach halftime. And I've never seen this before. We have a kicker.
I'm assuming this is KZLS.
Who does not use a key, and that is K'Hz, the offensive lineman, but he's also the kicker on the kickoff. So he kicks it to about the 20-yard line. Stroud trying to get it. This will be the last play of the first half. And that's how the first half is going to come to an end. Ball taken to about the 30-yard line. That's still just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So, first half in the books. What an excellent first half it was. With a close game, 10-6 our score. Fairview leads Stroud. We'll have the halftime show and get you ready for the second half. Back up this, you're listening to Sports Coverage on 1640 and 1390 AM.
1640 and 1390. I'm assuming that's who that is. If I remember right. Actually, that might be Mississippi. TNI.
I'm getting rid of this stuff. But need to make some space? Don't get rid of the things that you want. Take it to CNC Storage in Fairview. Thanks to CNC Storage, you get to declutter your home or office and store your ordered items away safely and conveniently. If you're tired of being crowded by your club, give CNC Storage a call today. CNC Storage is a proud sponsor of Fairview Athletics and would like to wish all the Yellow Jackets in Frank Kane good luck, especially number 54, Eden Pick.
The High Plains Insurance Agency takes pride in keeping up with many changes
that Integris Health offers top-notch orthopedic care with Dr. Brett.
Yeah, that's Enid. I looked up High Plains Insurance in Medford, Oklahoma, and there they are.
Located in Enid, Integris Baptist Health Center provides leading-edge treatment to keep you moving and get you back in the game. For your orthopedic needs, insist on Integris Health.
Are you looking for a local, reliable propane provider? Earnhardt Oil and Propane has been serving customers throughout Oklahoma since 19...
Yeah, okay, we got it. There we go. Let's go live. I'm looking southeast. Got a whole lot of nothing. TNI. I'm gonna have to check them and see why they're not on the air right now, or at least I'm not hearing them. They should be audible here. They're a daytimer for me, so I'll check in the morning to see if I have them here. But the fact that I'm not hearing them here right now on the Southeast Wire is a little interesting, actually, because they're usually pretty decent. Obviously, I'm looking for Utah here. KBJA, K-Talk out of Sandy. That's I don't know how I'm gonna do it getting through Enid, but that's who I'm looking for this week. I wouldn't mind KDIA out of Vallejo, California as well, but that's gonna be a tough one. I think they're daytime only, if I remember right, so that's gonna be tough. I've got Wisconsin here before. I've got Enid, and obviously I got Mississippi. There's not much down here in Latin America that I have to hope for here on 1640, so it's down to Utah. So we're throwing that Northwest Wire back out, looking to see if we can cast that into the waters there and pull back Utah. Let's do 1650. This one's pretty full. There's quite a bit here that we've got, not as much as we have in 1660, but 1650 has been good to us here. We've got KC and I'm sorry, actually that's not the one I'm thinking of. I only have 2 on that frequency, don't I? Right? No, I've got 4 here. Who are the 4? Oh yeah, I did get KBJD in Denver, and I think I got El Paso recently as well, if I remember right. Let me pull up the logbook itself here. Look, 1650. El Paso. Yeah, I did. I got Denver. So yeah, this one's been pretty good to us. We've got Denver. We've got El Paso. We've got Fort Smith. We've got KCNZ up here in Iowa. So we've got 4 on this frequency. So I'm not super worried about this one. I wouldn't mind adding Arizona or maybe even KFOX out of Torrance. Torrance rather, sorry about that. And if I could find a way to add Portsmouth, I would do it. Maybe on this Northeast Wire, I've got a shot. We'll see. But let's go back to the top of the hour and see which one of these. I think it's probably KFSW or KCNZ. Those are the 2 usual dominants here for us. Yep, it sure is, Carl. So New Jersey does count. Oh yeah, it's part 15. Good call.
CBS News Week, the holiday shopping season is underway. Retail analyst Christine.
A lot of retailers are in a position where they have a lot of inventory. They have a lot of things that they want to move through, which means for the shopper, discounts, bargains.
sale. On an extremely busy day of shopping, Amazon workers across the globe chose to hold demonstrations demanding better pay and working conditions. Jennifer Crane works for Amazon in St. Louis.
Average roughly 70 packages an hour for 10 hours a day, so about 3,000 packages a week, or I get paid much.
Amazon says it's inventing new ways to keep people safe and healthy. The Artemis 1 Orion spacecraft has fired its thrusters to slow it into what's known as a distant retrograde orbit of the moon. TV2 explains it's going to stress test for a craft that's further away from the Earth than any human-rated spacecraft has found before.
There you go. That's KCNZ. I did hear a station with music underneath that I'm assuming is probably Fort Smith. But KCNZ is our dominant here. We've gotten El Paso, we've gotten Denver before, but both of those were pretty weak. They're not super regular, but they do come in from time to time. KCNZ is our dominant here. So I would love to be able to pull in Torrance, maybe Virginia, but I'm not going to spend as much time on this frequency as I am on some of the others. The next frequency, actually, before we do the next one, let's go live here and see if we still have CNZ coming in. That's KCNZ as well. Let's go to 1660. This is one that's been super generous to us. We have quite a few here. We have the Superstar, right? This is the one that last year you guys saw me do my first. It's in the intro. KQWB in West Fargo. Heard him once. That's all I needed, was just the once. I'd like to hear him again. I'd love to add that air check to my collection, but we have to get through KWOD to get him to be TOU and KRZI. No small feat there. We also have CNZ down here in Florida, and we have heard Puerto Rico. In fact, the night I heard North Dakota, I was hearing Puerto Rico at the same time. Crazy world we live in. So let's go back top of the hour and see which one of those stations we got at 0200. What was that? Hold on. I want to see who that.
Worry about when a warm weather team.
Okay, I'm assuming that's probably just like some randomness.
Love them enough to make sure they're buckled up in the back seat.
That was probably something part of the commercial, so I'm just gonna ignore that little jingle that I heard there.
Where can you find steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless, and occasionally random stuff in the back? Who has an extensive line of aluminum welding supplies, door, rods, and wires? Who is KC's and Jeffrey's only stock outlet for Bronia's professional welding equipment? Who is KC's and Jeffrey's only Bronia's offer?
There's KWOD.
Where can you go to take a Bronia's welder for a test drive? Where can you find Colossus?
All right, so we're gonna go fast forward here.
This is KRZI Waco, KCC Waco,
dB Temple, ESPN Central Texas.
Well, that's pretty easy. Rewind it again. I do not miss the Charlotte station. BCN, I don't miss them at all. They were such a pest for me. Me too, Rob. Okay, so we got Waco in there. I'm gonna see if I can hear anything underneath them here, though. So we got KWOD and KRZI here. Let's go back live with 1660. Oh my God!
For putting me on, it's a supreme honor to be able to talk to the great Dr. Kangor. You are truly an American hero in that you are God's MAGA man. What do I mean MAGA? Make America godly again.
I like that. Real faith, real talk. The Drew Mariani Show on Relevant Radio.
I know who that is.
Catholic Order of Foresters is proud to sponsor the Relevant Radio studio line. For information about employment opportunities and flexible premium...
And we're on the Southeast Wire, pointing right at Marco. It's 2:15. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not right at him. I'm at 125. Yeah, that's pretty close. 125. So we're within 7 degrees of the beam, of the center of the beam of this antenna is Marco Island. I mean, they're just booming in. So that's 3 we've heard now on 1660. That's our best freak by far. 1670, not so much. We've got Atlanta or Georgia here, Dry Branch, MGE. I've got the Californian that I heard. We've got this one down here, the Mexican stations. That's it. No Wisconsin here yet. So let's see what we had here top of the hour.
Black Information Network.
Give us your feedback at 855-500-9BIN.
Yeah, relevant on 1660, Rick, is WCNZ Marco Island, Florida.
Black Information Network.
BINNewsMaker.com on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at BIN News Macon. Tell your smart device to play Macon's BIN 1670 on iHeart.
I'm Kevin Brown.
Okay, so let's go back to, we got them, and there's a Spanish station in here that I'm going to assume is probably Focus in Reynosa, because they're usually the dominant. Let's go back live.
Tackled for a loss and is leading the nation with 19 sacks, 29.
Still got Dry Branch in there.
14 and 44 minutes past each hour. I'm Morgan Wood on your home for 24/7.
There we go. So that's 1670. 1680, really, it's OKB. It's Winter Garden, Florida, and it's RJO in Monroe. So that's really, for me, about all I've got here. Actually, that is all I have. This is not a real station here in Dallas. We're going to black that one out. Let me get rid of that guy. Okay. Let's go back into the previous hour, top of the hour, and see what we had. That's going to be Monroe. And this was when we were on the West Wire. Look at that. RJO goes dead air, and look what you got underneath. I want to hear PRR here as well up in Michigan, so feel free, Bill, to send some of that signal down my way. So we had Monroe here at the top of the hour. Underneath them was OKB. Now, you want to hear how loud OKB is for me here? Let's go live. That's on the southeast wire. They're at 101 degrees. That's the 125 degree wire. I could actually probably pull them in better on the east loop, Superloop, because it's at 105. So that's that. Actually, let me try that out. Actually, here, let me 1680.
I'm Jennifer Andrews with your Minute Magazine. Well, Louisiana is getting nearly $44 million from the U.S. infrastructure bill to replace...
Oh, I forgot. I'm pointing west. That's why. So that's why. Okay, so that's 1680. We're going to be spending some time on that one, trying to get Michigan, trying to get California. I'd love to get New Jersey. I doubt that's going to happen. 1690. Super easy on this one. Oh, it's WMLB in Avondale Estates. We do have VON up here in Illinois. We do have Colorado here, but 1690 is pretty limited. Let's go top of the hour here. $16.50 Sports Radio is KC and Z here in Iowa. Carl. I can't use upper sideband here on 1690, and you're going to see why in a second. Okay, probably guessing this is Avondale Estates. Let's go back live.
.com/Godzilla. Promo code FALL10 saves 10%. Go to zstacklife.com/Godzilla and order today.
Yeah, that's most likely them. Here's why I can't use upper sideband on 690. I'm not even going to try going top of the hour. Let's just so we have live.
Make your hazard lights to alert others that your vehicle is in trouble. 3. Drive to the nearest crossover or shoulder, even with a flat tire. The safest place is out of the roadway. 4. If your vehicle cannot make it, stop in the right lane as close as you can to the curb. 5. Have all passengers exit and stand on the curb to the rear of the vehicle. This puts you out of the crash zone if your vehicle is rear-ended. 6. Contact the Causeway Police by calling star CP. That's 27 on the number pad, or 504-835-3116.
So you hear a station talking down below her. That's the TIS on the Causeway. I'm so close to that transmitter. It sucks. The station talking, the man talking underneath, he's in Haitian Creole. That's to be JCC down in Miami Springs. I've also got the Spanish station. That's KKLF Richardson. Let's real quick, we're going to do a break here in a second. Let's real quick, though, look and see if we have anything from our station on 1710 in New Jersey here on the Northeast Wire. All right, so we'll be spending some more time on that one, trying to pull New Jersey in on 1710. We're going to do a quick break. When we come back, it's top of the hour time. So don't go anywhere, my friends. More live AMDX as you're heading your way right here on DX Central Live.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. We're coming up on top of the hour here, and our third hour of Live DX is coming up here in a second. We're starting our next bit of live AMDX here at the top of the hour. Before we do, a couple reminders. Make sure if you are not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, or if you're watching us on Twitch or wherever you might be watching us, make sure YouTube, you subscribe to us, youtube.com/c/DXCentral. You can also make sure you follow us on Twitch and on Twitter. We have our twitter.com/DXCentral. Surprisingly, it's still up and running. We still have Twitter today. Also, Facebook, DX Central Online is our name there. And our website, dxcentralonline.com. We post our blog posts there each week for the Medium Wave Frequency Challenge. The new one is up. And we also have our TIS Hard Challenge. We'll check on that after the top of the hour here. And a lot of great resources for AM and FM DXers, old and new. So whether you've been DXing for a while or you're just starting out, highly recommend you give us a look over on our website, dxcentralonline.com, and check out the wares that we have there for you. There is a little merchandise area, too, speaking of wares, if you wanted to have a DX Central mug. I know Charles was mentioning earlier he was drinking out of his. Huh? Yeah, if you want to have a DX Central shirt, we're adding stuff to there whenever we can. We had some cool stuff, and they went away. That I'm kind of bummed about losing, but there's some more cool stuff there, and I'm looking for more stuff to add. I'm still looking for a place to do some fulfillment shipping, because I am not going to be I'm not responsible enough to do that on my own. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. If you're relying on me to ship it out, you'll see it sometime in the next century, because I don't have that kind of dedication to my timing and my efficiency and my time on task. Speaking of, it's top of the hour. See, I'm already behind on that too. Got too many irons in the fire. Let's go back to the Perseus here. We just did a look around on the expanded band, so we're actually going to go now to our Yeah, RSPDX. And let's look and see if we can find expanded band here. Let's go sit up on 1690. Let's see what we got there. Let me go lower sideband 1690. Let's see what we got there. I'd like to have a shot at New Jersey. I kind of doubt it, but let's take a look. It's going to probably be, more than likely, it's going to be Georgia. Oh yeah, Rick, we are going to do that here after the top of the hour. So I have 2 people written down here for shout outs. Where'd my notepad go? We're going to fire up the shout outs here after the top of the hour. John and Keegan, I got both of you in here. I'm sure I've missed some folks. So hit me in the chat with your new logs, new states, new countries. I've got one to add for myself here. Hit me in the chat right now. Let me know. We're going to get you at the top of the hour, everybody, with a shout out. Oh, you're right. We are. What's your new one, Rick? There's Maryland again. Pretty sure that was Florida underneath there with the ID, and then we got RJO here, Monroe here on top. I've got John, I've got Keegan, I've got Rick, I've got Haley, I've got Rob, I've got Alan N. Shout outs. Bring them to me in the chat. Let me know. Anybody else with shout-outs, send them over in the chat. Let me know. Like I said, I've got John, Keegan, Rick, Haley, Rob, and Alan N. Anyone I'm missing, let me know in the chat.
For your kids, and it's normal to be concerned about your child's future. College is expensive. How does anyone afford it? The best way to approach this daunting
That's
task
Georgia.
is to save early and often. According to
Every evening at 7 p.m. Central with Father Rocky and Margaret Kleinschmidt.
Here's where I want New Jersey. WWRU. Yeah, Sean, I was about to ask where yours were. The new loop's doing you well. We're going to be doing shout-outs here in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Get your shout-outs in. And we also have our DXC Tweet of the Week coming, too. Nice. I need to do some NDB hunting. I feel like I'm in a good spot for that here. One more minute. T-minus 1 more minute for shout-outs. Get them in the chat. Let me know.
Great recruiter. We saw Trey Palmer today light it up on the field. He was instrumental in bringing him there. He has said he would like to stay. Of course, because of who the head coach is. Matt Rule, when he got to Baylor, CeeLo, he hired the head of the local high school coaches association. He hires people and keeps people who will help him know and fill in the gaps of what he doesn't know. Would you be surprised, or do you anticipate, I should say, in keeping Mickey Joseph on the staff? No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Just got a new subscriber to the channel. Thank you, guys. We're inching closer to our goal of 200. Or I'm sorry, 200, 1,000. Don't mind me. We're almost to 1,000. That's what I meant to say. All right, let's roll with the shout-outs that we got here. Because I got a handful, and if we missed anybody, I apologize. We can get you next week. You can send those shout-outs over on the chat next week if we miss anybody here on this round. But let's go ahead and start with Keegan. Keegan getting KZRG, Joplin, Missouri this week for the first time. Congratulations, my friend. Yeah. We got a new one for Mike. Yeah, Mike actually 8 new ones for Mike. Not 1, 8 new ones for Mike. Good job, Mike. Better than 10-200, Keegan. 4 new logs for John. Wait a minute, I'm looking at last week's. Holy crap! Hold on, guys. Let's start this over again. Keegan, KZRG, Rick, WNAM and KTOQ in South Dakota. You lucky duck. Haley got 2 new ones. KSGL and WDXI 1310 paying off for you. Sean getting that W6 LVP up in the air has helped him out. 2 new ones, including new ones here on 1310 this week as well. Good job, Sean. Let's see, John 6 new ones this week, and 4 last week, 6 on this week. That's 10 in 2 weeks, man. Good job. Yeah. Rob adding 6 new ones, 5 US, 3 Mexico, and a Cuba. Good job, Rob. Yeah. And our big dog here with 9 new ones. I'm sorry, Rob was not the 5. I put this on the wrong line. Alan was the one with 5 US, 3 Mexico, 1 Cuba. Rob had 6 new ones. Alan with 9 new ones this week. So Alan with 9 new. Rob with 6 new. Let's go. I promise, I haven't even finished. This is the only beer I've had, guys. I don't know why I'm kind of flaking out here at the end. And I got to throw my own in there. We did. You guys heard it. You were here for it. You saw it. Thanks to Mr. Sandman. And then another one here a few moments ago that we heard on the air a second ago. WPTX 1690. Lexington Park, Maryland. Underneath WMLB. That's a new state for us. I can't. You can't prove anything, Barry. You can't prove it. That puts us at 37 states. Very excited about that. All right, let's do our tweet of the week. We have to get to that as well. You guys know, like I said, we're on Twitter. It's twitter.com/DXCentral, and we solicit you guys to submit your submissions for the DXC tweet of the week using hashtag DXC tweet of the week. And don't forget to tag us as well at DX Central. Anytime you see an AM or an FM DX related tweet that you think is particularly good, you can let us know. So let's take a look at this week's tweet of the week.
It's time for the DX Central live hashtag tweet of the week. Tweet. Tweet, tweet.
It's a Guinness, Justin. It's only like 4%. So, I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not even done with it. And it's the only one I've had. So I don't know why I'm over here on the struggle bus. Trying to keep all that stuff straight. Our tweet of the week is from our friend Charles, who's here, I believe, still with us on the live stream here. 774 JOUB Japan. I hope you put that on the Google form, my friend. 774. This was for this week's challenge. Let's go ahead and see what he got from the 774 Japan from Southern California here. Let's go. I mean, that's just, he's got the Air Spy with the SDR Sharp software here. Let's see what all you've got engaged here. You've got the carrier moved. You got the code channel canceller going on to get rid of your slot probably from 770. You've got your IF noise reduction enabled here. You've got some Yeah, man. You got that really zeroed in. You got the DSB going on here. Fantastic. Obviously, location doesn't hurt either, Southern California, but hearing Japan, I don't care where you're located, hearing across the ocean is always a thrill. So congratulations, Charles, our DXC tweet of the week.
It's time for the DX Central Live hashtag tweet of the week. Tweet.
All right. Congratulations, Charles. We're going to retweet that here in a second. And let everybody know that's the tweet of the week. If you have tweets you come across on the Twitter that you think qualify as a tweet of the week, that one, by the way, I want to mention as well, we do have a community that I started up on Twitter for AM and Medium Wave DX. So we've got 25 folks in there right now. But if you're on Twitter, please join our community. It's AM Medium Wave DX. And so it's kind of a one-stop shop for all things AM Medium Wave DX on the Twitter world. So you can get in there. And I love how I used a banner that actually has an FM frequency, if I remember right. I think that's an FM frequency. It doesn't matter. But definitely join us in the AM Medium Wave community on Twitter. We'd love to have you and be part of the fun and sharing what you're hearing, what you're coming across. We tweeted out this week our friends at AirSpy and SDR Play that have the specials going on for Black Friday. We mentioned that earlier. We'll mention it again. AirSpy is right now about $135 for the HF Plus Discovery. SDR Play RSPDX at $169.95 right now on Ham Radio Outlet, or actually I think they're at $179. But they do have them on special right now, reduced price on the RSPDX, which is what we were using here with our SDR Uno software. Hopefully that was helpful for some of you who either are using it and want to learn more about using it, and maybe some of those who might have been on the fence about getting it. Hopefully it helped you with your decision-making process. If you missed it, I think Justin joined us late here. I know he's an RSP user, SDR Uno user. You may want to go back in and check it, my friend, see what we talked about there with some of the stuff that was in earlier. I think it was right after the beginning of the first hour. So that's going to wrap us here. So we are looking this week. We're back in the expanded band again. My favorite frequency challenge that we've done so far in the last year and a half, I guess. My favorite one was the expanded band. So we're back in there again. Everything from 1610 to 1710. TISs count. And if you do log a TIS and you put it in for this week's challenge, don't forget to also submit it for the TIS hard challenge, which, by the way, we need to check in on. Let's go back over real quick to our Google form for that. Let's see how we're looking. We're at 19 logs so far. John's got most of them right now. John's crushing you guys. He's absolutely kicking it. Him and Steve over in British Columbia are our two leaders right now. John's got 13. Steve has, 4? And the two Van Horns here, Papa VH and myself, both with 1 each. Mine was my local here in Mandeville. So I'm not doing any better at getting these in here. But if you log any this week, as far as the medium wave frequency challenge, don't forget to also submit that same log on the TIS hard challenge. Just go to dxcentralonline.com. In the top menu up here, go to more, and then click on the TIS hard challenge link. And that takes you right to it. And it has the form and everything else you need here for you. It has the TIS hard list from the IRCA. It has all that information you need here on the challenge. So we definitely encourage you guys to do that. Enjoy that part, as well as the regular broadcast stations we find in the expanded band. And again, anything between 1610 and 1710 counts for this week's challenge. I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. I want to thank our sponsors, NRC, National Radio Club of America, National Radio Club, the IRCA, International Radio Club of America, and Teague Publishing for being part of the fun here this and every week, Friday nights at 1845 Central Time, 0045 UTC, right here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. We bring you DX Central Live. Take care, my friends. We'll see you next week. Good luck in this week's challenge, and can't wait to see you guys here on the expanded band. Take care. Best of DX and 73.
This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.